better now. I'm gonna own my dreams with Owen Brown. Our guest is Miss Jada Jackson. Are you there, Miss Jada?
I am, Ona. Thanks for having me.
Oh, so glad to have you on the show. Former Ebony Fashion Fair commentator and spokesmodel, current Emotional Mojo talk show host, national certified counselor and mental health therapist. And she is known for her transparent style of communicating and teaching. Her goal is to guide individuals into meaningful and purposeful living, particularly in the areas of personal enrichment, emotional management, and thought modification to embrace success. And Jada is a graduate of Regent University and has a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Professional Communication and a Master of Arts degree in Human Services Counseling. And she also has a Master's of Science degree in Counseling Psychology with a concentration in clinical mental health. So it's a lot going on. This woman is not just beautiful. She's brilliant, and she's not just beautiful on the outside. She's beautiful on the inside. And definitely, we're just so glad to have you with all the great work that you're doing, to have you on the show and taking time to be a part of Own Your Dreams with Ona Brown means a lot. So we just wanted to thank you for being here. Can you share with us a little bit about what you're up to right now and how you got into doing all the great things that you're doing?
Well, right now what is most important and what I'm doing, I have an Emotional Mojo talk show. I'm one of the co-hosts, and I just absolutely love this show. We are part of the Mojo Brands Media Group, which houses 6 talk shows, and one of the talk show, our sister show, is The Daily Buzz, which is a national syndicated show. So we've been up for about 3.5 months now, and it's going really well. But this show is so great because there's nothing really like it. We have what we call our daily challenge, and that daily challenge is just basically encouraging you in 60 minutes to try and do one thing that will get you one step closer to changing your life, owning your dream, stepping up to success, and doing something a little different. So it's really a lot of fun.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really, really powerful. And this is Donovan, by the way. Jada, how are you?
I'm great, Donovan.
Good. I was going through your bio and I was reading some really, really great things. And one of the things that stood out to me was I was just wondering what when you say a faulty thought process, what's your definition of a faulty thought process for an individual?
Well, that's a great question because as a mental health therapist, I'm actually what we call a cognitive behavioral therapist.
Okay.
And just in layman terms, what that means is I believe that what we think is what we feel, and what we feel is what we do, or are the behaviors that we walk out. So oftentimes when we're attempting to reach our goal, and in this case, oftentimes we want to reach success or own our dreams, and, obstacles get in the way. So a faulty thought process, what that means is you have a way of thinking or a pattern that you will continually think through negative thoughts. And one of the things I teach my clients is to replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts, because it's that faulty thought process. For example, I'm not worthy, or I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, or someone is better, or I want this, but I can't have it because fill in the blank. So again, one of the techniques that I teach my clients is to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts, or to reframe. And that reframe is turning a negative situation into a positive situation. It's that simple.
I see. So the reframing is the how exactly, because I know a lot of times people say, well, change a negative into a positive, but people don't always say how. So you're saying that the reframing is about changing a negative or faulty thought process, as you say, into a positive one. Is that true?
Absolutely. And I believe it or not, as much academic education that I have, one of the things that I say is I would not give up experience. And I've had to walk through this process. Uh-huh. And, when I transitioned from being a model to a therapist, that was one of the toughest transitions that I had to to deal with.
Right.
And, you know, I found myself standing there going, okay, I have to transform myself, or I have to reinvent myself. And in that moment, it was the scariest thing I'd ever had to do.
Right.
And when I came across this process, I was like, you know, people say it sounds so cliche. Just think about something positive or think about something good. And I'm like, I'm not trying to hear that right now. But it did work for me. I really started to say, okay, I can do this, and start to put that out into the atmosphere. And when I tell you things started to shift, you know, I signed on with the talk show. I have my own radio show, and, you know, things just really started to change for me. And instead of focusing so much on the fashion industry, because, you know, I was a supermodel, and then I became a clinical therapist, mental health therapist. So it was like, whoa, how did you do that? Because I was able to reframe my situation, and I knew I had to go to the next level.
Right.
So it was just a matter of doing it.
Aren't you oftentimes surprised by how many adults, successful adults, still have a lot of the faulty thoughts or challenged thoughts that reflect doubt and insecurity and low self-worth? It's just amazing to me. And even people will probably think, well, as beautiful as she is, she probably has so much confidence and so much courage that she never has to deal with any type of negative in a conversation.
Ooh, Ona, let me tell you. You know, it's funny. I've worked with some of the most beautiful women in the world. Mm-hmm. That's what I did. And the reality is, there is a core belief system that we all possess. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, that core belief system can be shaken very easily when it comes to insecurities, fears, and my key word is vulnerability. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm a huge Brene Brown fan, and, you know, if anyone has ever read her book, Daring Greatly, one of the things that she says is, you know, we see vulnerability as a weakness, as if those two words, weakness and vulnerability, are synonyms, but they are not. Mm-hmm. Being vulnerable is where we gain our power, but the reality is we don't allow ourselves to become vulnerable because we're too, quote, afraid. And that fear prevents us from attaining our ultimate success in life or going after our dreams. But I'm telling you, being beautiful is so overrated.
Wow. Yeah, but everybody want to find out for themselves. You know?
Oh, Lord.
I still would like to be that beautiful just one day. Just one day. Oh, that's so cute. She said it's overrated.
It is so overrated. And you know what? It's so funny because, you know, I used to say to myself, you know, I used to get paid because of how I look. Mm. And, you know, I'm 6 feet tall and very thin. And, you know, people are like, okay, that's what I need. I'll put you on the runway and we're going to pay you because of what God has given me. And I was like, really? Okay, I guess, okay, if that's what you want to do. But the reality is, you know, I never could quite embrace that concept. And, you know, most people that I talk to, they're like, you're so down to earth. And I guess it's because I just don't get wrapped up in it. I don't get wrapped up in the hoopla. And again, I've worked with some of the most beautiful women in the world, some famous women. I won't name names, but what I've learned is sometimes the prettier you are outside, the uglier you are inside.
Come on.
Wow.
And
come on now.
That, to me, has made the loudest statement, not only in my career, but, you know, I see all of these young women and these young girls who are attempting to model their lives after these entertainers and these fashion models. And the reality is, if they only knew.
Right.
And again,
yes. we gotta put a bookmark right there, a paper clip and a bookmark. If you don't mind, we gotta go to break real quick, but I want you to expound on that if you don't mind when we come back after this break. Would you mind holding?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. We'll be right back with more after this. This is juicy. We'll be back. Thank you.
it's Bonita Brisker, and you're listening to Ona Brown. Own your dreams, baby, on Love 860 WAEC AM.
You've seen the Total Gym on TV for years. Total Gym is the all-in-one fitness solution designed to help you reach your fitness goals quickly. Top celebrities like Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley rely on the Total Gym to keep in shape. And now you can try the Total Gym 30 days risk-free for just $49.95. $49.95. With the Total Gym, you can work out all major muscle groups, even cardio exercises with one machine, all in the comfort of your own home. And when you're done, you can fold the Total Gym up and slide it under your bed. Now you can get in the best shape of your life, like Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley have with the Total Gym. Call now for your 30-day risk-free trial offer. Call now for free shipping.
800-291-2072, 800-291-2072, 800-291-2072, 800-291-2072.
Here's a question we often ask people we care about. Have you been exercising? We should be asking another very important question. Have you been affirmacizing? Affirmacize Take 2 is a powerful mind-shifting CD that can help you to step into the gymnasium of your mind and affirm truth, power, peace, prosperity, and harmony into your life. Utilize your mind and mouth in a more productive and positive way. Begin decreeing what you actually want in your life instead of stating and restating the same negative, destructive, and draining statements day in and day out. Become deliberate about speaking what you want into your life as opposed to what you don't want. Order your very own CD of Affirmacize right now and start affirmacizing daily to begin creating a brand new tomorrow and one that you deserve. To place your order now, visit www.onabrown.com. That's onabrown.com or call 305-999-5556. 305-999-5556.
You're now listening to Own Your Dreams with my good friend Ona Brown. It's your man Vincent N. Ward with The Walking Dead. Tune in. Peace.
I'm flying higher, I'm stronger, I'm better now, 'cause I'm owning my dreams with Ona Brown. I'm flying higher, I'm stronger, I'm better now, 'cause I'm owning my dreams with Ona Brown.
The comment that you made was very interesting when you said sometimes it seems as if the more beautiful a person is on the outside, they can be,
more ugly on the inside.
I didn't really want to say ugly, but Donovan didn't have a problem saying it.
Listen. Go ahead.
He keeps it real. Yeah, he wanted to say that.
Uh-huh. Well, and I don't want to make such a broad sweep of a generalization, but right. The reality
just in general,
is, being in that industry, I found myself around a lot of people who I thought, wow, she's just so beautiful, but, you really see a lot of self-centeredness. And I don't like to throw the narcissism word around quite a bit, but, when it becomes all about you and then you begin to compare yourself to people who you perceive to be, quote, uglier than you, and then you become superior, then to me, that's not, that's not good. She's not a good human person. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, I just say to all of the young girls that I work with, more so than anything, is to really develop who you are on the inside. Again, here goes that cliche, but it's just very true. Developing who you are on the inside, and that will shine through. And some of the most beautiful women that I know are maybe not supermodel beautiful, but they're so beautiful because of the confidence and because of their character and because of, their morals and their values and their belief system. But to me, that is what's most important.
Mm-hmm. Well, how were you raised in such a way that kept you obviously very grounded in this industry that can be so superficial and so surfacey? for lack of a better word.
Right. Yeah.
Surfacey.
I'll take it.
Surfacey, I like that.
I'm getting deep on you. I'm getting deep.
real deep. It was, my mom carried a big stick.
Okay.
I will say that.
Oh, right.
And my mom really didn't have, and I have a story. It's so funny because when I was in high school, I was voted. You know how they have the superlatives, and I was voted the most beautiful girl in the school. And my mom looked at me and was like, "So?" I said, "But great." She's like, "Okay." My mom would downplay all of those types of things. She was just like, "Okay." She never, ever, when I tell you, she never celebrated my looks ever. And it just kept me so grounded.
Wow.
Because after a while, I started thinking, "Mom, you don't think I'm cute?" And then she was like, "Okay, I'm taking this a little bit too far." But I understood later on what she was doing. She was really trying to give me that balance, to recognize that, okay, you are different, which is, she knew very early that people would always say she should model. Does your daughter model? Your daughter should model. And my mom, again, she always played it down. But she did get me into the modeling classes, and, she followed through with it, but she never allowed me to get, big in my head.
That's good. She was like,
kept it real.
You're beautiful, but you better get in there and do those dishes, and you better make those eggs, and you better clean up your room. And that's good.
Yep. And it's funny because my mom, she was a valedictorian of her high school class, and she's was a very beautiful woman, and she still is a beautiful woman. And I think that even for her, she recognized some things early on too, and she's a hard worker. And so Ona, I love your message. You said own your dreams, and in doing that, it. Even though, and I will say this, I will admit this, being beautiful has helped, for sure. But one of the things that I never wanted was a handout. A change for me, when I decided to go into psychology and take my licensure test, I was like, I wish my beauty could go in here and take this test, this 4-hour licensure exam. But no, my brains had to do that.
Right.
So I never wanted to, put all my eggs in one basket. There had to be a balance there. And again, that's the one thing I teach my girls, all the time. And the women that I work with is, there's beautiful faces come a dime a dozen. But what do you have on the inside? What's going to carry you over the top that's going to make you different? And it's going to only come from the inside.
So true. And my great grandmother used to say, pretty is as pretty does. I never felt pretty as a little girl, but when she said pretty is as pretty does, I said, what do you mean by that, Mama Corrine? And she said, what that means is that you can be pretty by doing pretty things. And so when she said that, I was like, okay, I might not be pretty, but if I do pretty things, that'll make me pretty. So I just started this whole venture of how can I do pretty things?
Right.
Like I'll organize her closet, or I would help her with cleaning, or help her with cooking. Cause I was like, okay, this is a pretty thing. This is going to make me pretty. And,
I love it.
Yeah. So you had a question.
Absolutely. What would you say to a mother right now that's listening, Jada, that has a daughter and feels like she's slowly slipping out and becoming superficial, but she doesn't want to lose her? She wants to bring her back. What would you say to that mother that's listening to you right now?
That's a great question, Donovan, because, again, and I don't know, you probably already know this, and for your listeners, I think that this is a key component here. First of all, when you're dealing with young girls, one of the things to understand is that self-esteem is usually developed by the opposite sex parent, which is the dad.
Wow.
And one thing that we do know is that 70% of, first of all, African Americans are raised in single-parent homes with only moms. That number is growing across, through diversity with, Hispanics and Caucasians. But what we're missing in the homes is that father figure. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to see a young girl, acting out or attempting to engage in promiscuous relationships, just to feel affirmed or to feel validated. And one of the things that I always say to the parents of the young women that I work with is to affirm, validate without blowing up their heads. Right. Obviously, but really put a support system in place. If they don't have a father figure in place, they really need to have healthy male relationships in their lives. That's so important.
Mm-hmm. And it's so important, especially it seems like in this society right now, there's even more emphasis on how you look and wearing the fake lashes and wearing, they've even had a woman that tried to put in artificial
implants
in her buttocks and died because they weren't done properly.
Yes.
So these young girls are just bombarded with how you look. And if you don't look like you're model ready or video ready or movie ready, then you're nothing. And that's so far from the truth.
Absolutely.
It is. And you know what's interesting? I just wrote an article about that on my blog, and I just want to say it's at jadajackson.com, and I'm talking about Hollywood stars and people who are attempting to look like them and how people are willing to risk their lives to look a certain way. And again, I remember that story, and I actually talked about that on one of our shows, because you're right. She went in thinking she was going to, get her butt injections and literally die on a table. And, even more so, Kanye West's mom,
right.
excuse me, we have all of these
people that we've lost.
Correct. People we've lost. And, my question is, what is it? And mind you, I get it. I completely get it, because I can remember standing, on a scale, terrified that I was going to lose my job because we could only gain up to 5 pounds. And if you think about the constant stress and, trying to maintain a certain weight and to look a certain way, that can be a bit much, especially when how you look is your livelihood. But we're talking now 16, 17-year-olds who are now getting breast augmentations and implants. And I'm saying, wait a second, your body isn't fully developed yet. How can you even do that?
Right.
They want to have that image.
Right.
And
that's just so sad.
It's very sad.
And that the mothers are allowing them to do this to their bodies, and their bodies aren't even fully developed yet. So unfortunately, we've got to go to break, but I want to make sure that people can stay connected with you. This is so good. We've got to have you live in studio, Miss Jada Jackson. When will you be in Atlanta so we can do this live? And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to tell people to go to facebook.com/I am Jada Jackson. And also they can email you at Jada@totallifecounseling.com. That's Jada@totallifecounseling.com. And go to your website, totallifecounseling.com. You are brilliant. You are so powerful. And I'm so glad to know you. When can we get you live in studio?
I'm going to look at that schedule, and I'm going to be there, even if I have to come in just for you, Ona.
Oh, I love it. Yay! Awesome. See, ask and it shall be given. Knock and the door shall open. All right. We appreciate you. Love you so much. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks. Have a great night.
Okay, you too.
I'm better now.